in what ways can we use IFS or IFS principles to achieve social justice or to achieve liberation as you see liberation happening?
People are attached to the land, right? They're attached to their ancestors. And so my next book that's coming out sometime next year, we're talking about what it means to do parts work, right, from a Black context. One of the things I stumbled upon was like this connection to like Haitian voodoo and like the multiplicity of souls. Where Dick would say, you know, there's self energy in all parts. I will go so far as to say that if there's self energy in all parts, that all parts have souls. Like at the very, like at their very core, and if all parts have souls, then there's an infinite amount of us just hanging out inside of us. And if we're talking about breaking free, also that means you have to, you know, remove yourself from a particular cycle. And if the body or the ancestor or the combination of the two are suggesting that something is not only wrong via the sensation that you get or even the wisdom that comes to the surface, then there's probably something that needs to be, you know, tweaked or this offering a way out. And so this is part of, you know, what it means, right, to not, you know, not just see who's trying to quote unquote take over the seat of consciousness so much as it is like to give room to play, I guess, to play on the freeing of the will. So like, you know, we say free will is like, I get to do what I want. Now I'm arguing a free will means, you know, these parts well enough to let them take over. It's allowing for like this interchange of who you are at any given moment as your body becomes the vessel, right, for all of these things. And I think in order to break free, not only do you have to try to break a cycle, but you also have to bypass the people who are trying to keep you in a certain bubble. But if these folks who have lived inside of you, these parts that live inside of you that they don't know, they haven't come to contact with, but you know, then they have the capacity to bypass and overcome and, you know, maneuver out of the spaces that have held you and are trying to hold you within the boundaries that they're set up.
What ways are you all imagining or actively using IFS to achieve social justice, to move towards the liberation that you envision?
For me, IFS has really helped to teach me to learn a way of letting go of this ancient myth that maybe we've all inherited around conquering or victory, that we're going to find our way forward by defeating something, overpowering something, getting something out. Versus for me, this relational invitation to be present with life where it is and as it is, so that it can be seen and heard and known, and so that it can be cherished for all the creative movements that life births. The spontaneous nature of life is amazing. I mean, it's wild. Like if you're out in nature, if you have an experience where you recognize not only is everything alive, some spiritual teachers will use this illustration of a banquet or a feast. I like to think of a dance. I think of my ancestors dancing. I think of my grandmother dancing in the kitchen. I think of her making up songs while she was preparing a place for all of her grandchildren and her kids. And like that feels like part of what IFS can help us to open up, is to, at its best, help us to affirm and to recognize this beauty, even in ways that dominant cultures or paradigms will reject or minimize. Now, you were talking about reclamation and this sense of just being able to say, like, maybe this way to peace that we long for isn't going to come by us beating somebody else, by destroying somebody else, by ridding ourselves of something else, but maybe there's another way to be. And for me, IFS has helped me to continue to explore what that's like intrapersonally, and hopefully to invite others to that inquiry as well.
Yes. Now I was just about to do the same thing. It just snaps on that. Just maybe there's another way to be, and just the conviction that there must be, this can't be it. Right.
I am sitting with the concept, the knowing of collective self-energy. And I feel like rooted in self-energy is this wish for not just healing, right? Not just healing, but liberation. Because liberation, I believe, without liberation, there can be really no full healing. Healing isn't complete without liberation. And that includes liberating ourselves, but that includes liberating the land, so that everything is sovereign. Everything and everyone is sovereign, outside of just human, the human beings, right? Outside of people, but the land as well. And I think that self-energy alone cannot do that. I think we have to lend our soul, our rooted selves, our self-energy to that. But the medicine is in the collective. The medicine has always been in the collective. And so for me, I think IFS and the understanding of not just self energy, but really even broadening and expanding that to understand that it's all interconnected. Our self energies, our souls are all interconnected to create that collective self that can help really transform a lot of the systems that we are existing in within right now, at least help fight against it.
What advice do you have for those who are listening, who are feeling discouraged, who are feeling numb? What would you say to them?
For me, it's just knowing that this is a real natural response given everything that is happening in the world.